Hello, and welcome to tonight's episode of Vampire the Requiem, episode 5. My name's Mike. I'll be your storyteller tonight, and I'm here with Robin, uh, my beginning player. I will hand it over to Robin and let her tell you who she is, what character she plays, and what that character does. So,
Hi, I'm Robin. I'm playing Winter Jameson. She is a vampire from the Deva clan and Invictus Covenant, and she owns a vampire themed goth nightclub in New York.
um, in the next couple of weeks, not exactly sure when. We haven't got everybody set up, but there's gonna be a couple more new cast members coming into this game, which should make it interesting. Life at the club's about to pick up a bit. That actually coincides with the opening of your new RIP section, so we'll see how that works out. But I will keep you up to date on when we get everybody set up, and I'll let you know because we'll be moving the game to Sunday once everybody gets set up and ready to go. So I will keep you informed about that. So, um, trying to remember how last episode ended. It's been a bit. Um, you had gotten news from the construction guy that your RIP section was basically done. Uh, and you were deciding on how to advertise that. Dexter had said something about flyers and such. Uh, you had investigated the park.
Right. We found out that what we're that likely who we're looking at here are vampires from the Circle of the Crone.
Yeah,
No.
because there's magic involved. Um, and you guys had basically gotten home that night and were pretty much exhausted. And
Right. Oh, yeah, and there were a couple more of the I forget what clan they are, the spies that were keeping an
oh,
eye on me.
oh yeah, the maquette is
The
lurking
cat.
around.
Right. So I need to call Tanner and let him know that there were a couple more hanging around my club last night or this morning.
And you should probably report what you guys found out at the park to either the
He was
prince. Well, yeah,
oh
t-
Tanner was there.
he was there for the second part. He didn't see the first body with the old man.
No, we showed him the pictures Nat took on her phone.
Oh, okay. All right. So he would have relayed all that information to the prince. Um, so you guys have your alarms set for sunset because that way you can get up and get ready and have a meal before you have to head off to the club. So, uh, the alarm goes off and you reach over and turn it off. As as you wake up and look around, you find yourself basically entangled in Natalie. She's got a hold of you and she's still asleep. Apparently, the alarm's not loud enough to wake her up. And you hear Dexter clomping around in the kitchen, apparently. Because the first thing he does before he takes his shower is like, used to be get a cup of coffee.
Right.
He now gets a mug of his preferred blood type out of the fridge. And you hear him yell, which actually wakes Natalie up. He yells into the room that you guys are running low on his blood type. And so Natalie's eyes open and she still won't let go of you, even though she's awake. Cause like she's like, can we just stay home from the club tonight?
Uh, well, with a little more notice, maybe if we could have told people we were going to be closed for the day, I'd allow it. But as it is, I guess we need to get. Besides, it sounds like we need to get some more of Dex's blood at the corner store.
Yeah, yeah. She's like, I heard that. By the way, which one of us wants to go get it this time?
Oh, I'll go. Like I said, I wanted to pick up some cookies for my. Do you
Yeah.
call them victims or?
Uh,
I don't want to use the word victim because
yeah,
I'm not
maybe not.
killing anybody.
Donors
But
is a much
yeah,
nicer term. And, the plasma places and the regular Red Cross gives out cookies to their donors. You're no different
right.
than that.
Exactly. Besides, like I've given gave blood once or twice when I was alive. I remember the way you feel after you need. You're grateful for those cookies.
Yeah, ups your blood sugar. Above game, I once went to give blood at a place that gave out pizza.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, you couldn't afford to do that with every person you were.
I wouldn't want to like. It'd be a little too conspicuous walking around with a pizza box.
Yeah, true. People be like, what?
case I could put a few in a plastic bag in my
Mm,
purse.
right. Well, Natalie's like grumble, grumble. She's a, and she hugs you tighter and kisses you and goes, well, I guess we gotta go then.
Oh, I brush the hair back from her forehead with my fingertips.
He's like,
And besides, I'm ready for my morning cup of blood.
yeah, like Dexter. And so the two of you hop out of bed and she goes, you go get your blood, I'll take a shower and I'll meet you, two of you in the kitchen in a little bit.
Okay.
So she pads off to to the shower and you walk into the kitchen and Dexter's standing there. He's, uh, he's like, that whole thing in the park last night was kind of weird. Especially
Yeah.
the, especially the magic symbols and stuff all over that dude.
Yeah, that was not exactly what I was expecting.
Mm. Apparently, when the circle of the crone goes for sacrifice, they do it upright, I guess.
Guess so.
Um, where did I put it? Give me an intelligence and wit check. No,
Okay, that is. Looks like two successes and four failures.
all right. Well, you fail then.
Yeah.
Uh, so does Dex. In fact, uh, he turned around in the kitchen, accidentally bumps into the small dinettes that you guys in have in the kitchen, and saves his half-drank cup of blood, puts it on the table as he's falling to the floor. Like, I must not be awake yet. Uh, and you hear Natalie yell from out of the bathroom, what the hell was that?
Dex being clumsy.
Uh, you hear this exasperated sigh from out of the bathroom. Uh,
You know, these new vampires.
like, a couple minutes later, Natalie walks out still in her bathrobe and opens the fridge and goes for bottle number 3, which is her preferred vintage. And she's like, yeah, Dex was right. We need to restock tonight.
Well, I'll hop in the shower and I can run down to the corner store before we go to the club. It can't take that long. I mean, just need to grab a few bottles of blood.
That's true. And so, you know, Dex gets up and dusts himself off, for lack of a better term. Tries to make it look like that was a little more planned than it was. Uh,
That's what cats do when they miscalculate a jump. They turn around and lick, like, man, I meant to do
right?
that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, we gotta move this table. He's like, you know what? Now that there's 3 of us here, we need a bigger dining room table anyway. Because the one Natalie has in the kitchen was a small table and it only had 2 chairs, anyways. Dex is like, we gotta go to the furniture store and get a bigger table.
Yeah.
Uh, and maybe not put it right next to the fridge.
Well, actually, with the three of us here, we should probably move it out of the kitchen entirely. There's more room in the living room. You can stick it in there.
Yeah, you do have sort of a living room, dining room space before you hit the kitchen.
Mm.
It's fact the dining room space is just a big blank space right now. She's she wasn't using it, uh, so mm. So you finish your cup of blood and you head for the shower. And while you're in the shower, you hear the 2 of them mumbling something. You can't really tell. You can hear voices, but with the shower, you can't tell what they're saying. So, I tell you what, 15, 20 minutes, you're out of the shower and makeup and dressed and all that sort of stuff, or does it take does it take you longer than that?
No, probably takes about 20 minutes.
So you walk back into the kitchen and Natalie's smiling and Dexter's got this sort of cross between n- not really interested and completely confused look on his face.
What's going on, guys?
Natalie says, oh, I was just talking to Dexter about the fact that uh, not tomorrow, but the next day I've got to go teach the prince's staff how to actually make drinks that are drinkable.
Yeah, he seemed impressed with your skills. And
Gonna
I kind of sneak up behind her and go, "We're all impressed with your skills."
then how come we had to end up getting out of bed today? That was my issue. Uh,
Yes, but as the owner of a club, I can't exactly just play golf as much as I'd like to. So,
especially with the whole new section of the club opening tonight
yeah,
or tomorrow night because you guys haven't gotten any advertising out yet.
right. I dropped a dice. There we go.
And Dexter's like, oh, by the way, I did get flyers made.
Oh,
Oh,
great.
um, because with the blackout curtains in here, I can stay up long enough to use the computer. We do have to pass them out, though. Uh, so I'll pass out a bunch at the door, and if
We
you,
should put. I'll put a few up in the stalls in the public bathroom, so they can see it when they go in there.
and Natalie, like you could give one or two to the people at the corner market,
Hmm.
um, if they'd be okay with that.
Right. I can give them a little. Ask them if I can leave a little stack on the counter for any of their customers that are interested.
And
Speaking of which, I should probably run down there while Dex takes his shower.
yeah, true.
Uh, so, what do I need to get? All three of our preferred types of blood? Are we running low on everything?
Yeah, it'd probably be better. Uh, in fact, if they do it like wine, where if you get six, you get a special price. Go ahead and do that because it's not like we won't use it. We can just
Right.
keep it in the fridge. And she says, some point we ought to think about getting a wine fridge just for the just for that. Although we don't really keep anything else in the fridge.
Right. Unless we're planning on hosting humans someday, we're gonna have to run out and grab some stuff from like the thing before
Right.
they come over. But
Who knows? Maybe has a couple of human friends left. Who knows? So you,
right, or my parents might come from Maine for a visit sometime.
Natalie, like, wouldn't that be interesting
Yeah.
on several levels?
Well, they know I'm a vampire. I never mentioned to them to mention that you are as well.
And now you're club bouncer.
Yeah,
You're living with a girl and a guy.
right.
Your parents should find that very interesting at the moment.
They would probably be like, "Oh, okay. So is this what being a vampire does then?" Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. And then they'll look around the apartment and go, hey, she's got a better place, nicer place than we do. Uh, and that's what constitutes three people in one apartment. Because a nice apartment on the east side like that costs arm and a leg and several internal organs by the time you're done. So, um, so right after um, Dexter goes off to get into the shower, uh, you grab your bag and head out the door to go down to the corner market. Once again, give me a wits and intelligence check.
And again, that is two successes and four failures.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 9, a 10, a 7, two fives, and a 2.
Okay. Uh, you walk up to the corner market with a stack of flyers. Um, the elderly woman that you met the first time is standing behind the counter. Although she seems to be by herself tonight. So, um, do you do your shopping first or do you ask her about the flyers first?
I'll do my shopping first.
Uh, you come up to the counter with a hand basket with two of each blood type in
Right. And a package of Oreo cookies.
it. Yeah. Now, question. You get the regular ones, the double stuffed ones, the chocolate cream ones, or the ones that are covered in fudge.
The double stuff.
Okay. They now have one that's like mega double stuffed.
Oh, gee.
It's called most stuffed. It's got more cream than cookie. It's like,
And then there's deep fried Oreos, which I have
yeah,
had above game. They're good.
I have not. So,
Yeah, those aren't caloric at
yeah,
all.
one day when I know I'm gonna die the next day, I'll have two or three of those, so that it won't matter if I keel over the next day or not. Um, so you hoist the hand basket up on the counter, and um, she's ringing your bottles up, and she says, "You do get a 15% discount." And there's a little cardboard carrier box that she's setting them in. So Do you guys talk to each other or?
Well, I noticed that it seems to be pretty slow in there, and I asked her how business has been.
Yeah, tonight's been slow. Harold's in the back. Those darn Strix.
Strix?
You haven't seen them?
No?
They're rather hard to miss. They're. She finishes wringing your blood up and hands you the cardboard carrier with the bottles in it. Then she puts her arm around your shoulder and escorts you to the front door, opens the door, and points to power line right next to the store. And on the power line is sitting what, for all intents and purposes, looks like an owl, but bigger and the face is slightly narrower than an owl would be. She says, "That's a Strix."
Okay, I've never seen one of those before.
She says, "Be careful of them. They can possess people,
Oh,
even vampires."
oh, okay. Is there a way to ward them off, or?
Uh, you just have to steer clear of them and hope they have other reasons for being around. Oh, and by the way, I've noticed a few of them around the neighborhood recently, which means there must be a gathering happening somewhere. Just be careful.
I will, thank you. And then I'll ask her if she minds. I show her my flyers and ask her if she minds if I leave a few of them on the counter just in case anyone's interested. You tell her I'm going to be opening the RIP section in my club in the next couple of days. And would like to kind of get the word out if anyone wants to, would be interested in that.
She says, "Oh, you own a nightclub, do you?
Yeah,
Did you
not far from here actually.
did you guys talk about that the last time you were in?"
I don't remember. I think I might have mentioned it, but I don't remember. Excuse me.
Uh, yeah, you can leave a few on the counter. That's fine. Um, she gives you a little squeeze around the shoulder. Nice to see you. See you the next time you need more bottles.
All right, thank you.
Don't eat all those Oreos yourself."
No, those are for my donors.
Uh, I wonder if Oreos would make a vampire sick. Stomach issue, such.
I would think any human food would.
You eat a whole big family-sized package of Oreos. So you walk back to the apartment, and you yourself this time notice at least three of these Strix. in various places.
That might be something I want to mention to Tanner too, just in case if him heads up, or maybe he knows something about why they're hanging around. So I need to tell him. I need to call him anyway and let him know there were a couple of Maquettes back at my club this morning when we picked up Nat's car before we came home.
Yeah.
So when we get back to the apartment, I'll give him a call.
You get back to the apartment, you walk in, you go into the kitchen and put the bottles in the fridge. And Natalie's sitting at the uh, dining room table, as it were. Dexter's just getting out of the shower and getting dressed and such. Do you tell them about these things?
Yeah,
Dexter's like, what in the world is Strix? Being new to this, he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
so I'll tell them what they are, and also pass along the warning that they can possess beings, humans and or vampires.
Well, Natalie's heard of them before. She's heard horror stories, basically.
Has
Uh,
she actually seen them herself?
no. And Dexter's like shocked. He's like, so there are things that we can't even deal with.
No, the lady at the shop mentioned something about their they could be hanging around because there's some sort of gathering. So I'm wondering if they're here because of the Circle of the Crone vampires doing their thing.
Natalie said that could be. Uh,
They're apparently trying to raise something, and that's what all the sacrifices for. So I'm wondering if that's why the Strixes are hanging around.
uh, eh, Natalie says, yeah, any fresh carcass, as it were, that they can turn into a controllable zombie, that's to their advantage. So I wouldn't put it past them. Plus, I'm not sure, but there's generally a sanctum holiday around this time. So there may be more of them gathering too, which would be perfect. And you hear Dexter call from the other room, and he's like, and just how did we get in the middle of all this?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out myself.
I was a happy go lucky biker bouncer a week ago, what the, or 2 weeks ago, and now this.
I'm gonna call Tanner to tell him about that and to let him know that I'm still being followed, or at least as of this morning.
Hmm. He's like, both of those things are not good news, by the way. Hmm. I'll send out a couple of Invictus people to keep track of the Strix because they're a problem for all of us. And then,
Have you noticed any hanging around?
not until you mention it, but then again, I wasn't looking for them. Uh, Now I will be more vigilant about looking for them. It's odd that they would hang out in this neighborhood, though. There isn't anything major going on in your neighborhood.
Not that I'm aware of.
Um, and as far as the maquette issue goes, um, there are some, unlike our friend of a while back, there are some gangrels that function within the Invictus that are good at tracking. I will send a couple out to track down these maquette that are following you and politely convince them to go elsewhere.
I'd appreciate that.
Or and also find out what the hell they're trying to do.
Yes.
So do you tell Tanner that your RIP section will be open tomorrow night?
Oh, yeah, I'll mention that.
Uh,
Uh, Tell him the contractor did a great job very quickly and be ready to open tomorrow night.
That's good to hear. I'll stop by. See
Great.
see how things are going. And I'll let some of my Invictus friends know they have money. They might as well give it to you. And with that, he says goodbye and hangs up the phone. By that time, Dexter is dressed and walks back out into the kitchen in his full leather biker outfit, complete with jacket. Says, I should get a different patch on the back of my jacket now, as I am dead and no longer a member of the biker group.
True enough.
But I guess we can't go showing like um, Invictus symbols and such around humans either.
Just just get a patch with a big mosquito in the back. Because, you know, they're bloodsuckers too.
Says Natalie says we should make merch for the club. We should all like wear T-shirts and stuff with the club logo on it, especially now that the RIP section's open.
Yeah.
So, or will be open tomorrow night. Or and Dexter goes, or are we letting the regulars in tonight and then letting everybody in tomorrow? As far as the RIP section.
Well, tomorrow is going to be the like opening of the RIP section,
Yeah,
so
okay.
we're not going to let anyone up there tonight.
We'll, we'll just tell the people in the club about it tonight. They can come back tomorrow.
Right. Well, we'll tell them it's the grand opening tomorrow, and to tell everybody, bring in some people.
And Natalie goes, yeah, I've got to make sure we have enough alcohol for that tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, we're probably gonna go through a lot tomorrow. Come to think of it.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll make enough money to make it worth it, though. Eh, Dex says I'll make sure the cab company's numbers are in my phone because we might need them tomorrow. Gonna have a lot of drunk people up there tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we have to be responsible and such.
Unless it's all vampires, then we don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's true. That would be the best way that it could work out. No. But with that, you guys all walk out, um, go to get in Natalie's car, and I'm I'm gonna try this a third time and it worked. Give me a wits and intelligence roll.
Okay, so that time it's 5 successes and 1 failure.
So 4 successes total.
Yeah.
Uh, as you guys get in the car, this man walks by, and you know the Hare Krishnas that are in the airports in the orange robes
Right.
and
Yeah.
such?
Yes.
That's what this man's dressed like. Only his robe is green, and he has a little bit of hair. He walks by the car, turns his head slowly, nods courteously at the three of you, and continues walking. This is also something you've never seen in this neighborhood since you've been here. Natalie herself, who's been here for in this neighborhood for years now, is like, well, isn't that strange? We've got killer owls and guys in monk's robes walking by all at the same time.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Dexter's like, I always knew the neighborhood was going downhill. Natalie whacks him on the head. She's like, hold it, my apartment's nice. You, you could be living in a hotel room at this. Yeah. She starts the car, and within 5 minutes, the guys are parked in the club parking lot. Once again, those two old guys that you saw in the club parking lot last night are still there. In fact, they don't look like they've gone anywhere. Um, the three of you walk up to the door. Dexter pulls his key and unlocks the door. Um, yeah, you guys walk inside. Natalie heads straight for the bar, of course. And then Dexter goes to grab his clipboard. However, there are two notes on the bar. And you walk over and Natalie hands them to you. Um, one is the foreman of the construction crew. He says, your RIP section is officially finished. Um, hope it goes well. If you need us for anything else, and at the bottom of the note, he has his name and phone number. He's apparently the foreman of the crew. So, the other note is a bit different. It's got a gold seal on it. It's folded, and it has a gold seal on it. You break the seal, and the note is very simple. As soon as possible, your presence is requested at the following address. Signed, Cornelius.
Is it addressed just to me or
Yeah,
to? Yeah.
just to you. So what do you do?
Well, as soon as possible. So I guess I asked Nat if she and Dex can hold down the club for a while while I go see what Cornelius wants. Tonight's going to be better than tomorrow night. I'm going to have to be here for the opening of the RIP section. So whatever he wants, I should probably find that out tonight.
can Winter drive?
Uh, she has her Vespa.
Oh, oh yeah, I forgot about that. You guys use Natalie's car all the time, so is that in your garage at the house, or where
Yeah,
did?
it's in the apartment.
So you gotta walk back to the apartment and get that.
Hmm.
Luckily, you're only a few minutes away from the apartment.
Right. And vampires can move pretty fast.
Yeah, so you gather up Natalie and Dexter, and you show them the note, and they're Nat Dexter's like, "You mean that guy that was in here the other night?"
Yeah,
And Natalie's like, "Whoa."
yeah. He doesn't actually say in his note what he wants with me, but does say as soon as possible. So,
Yeah, she's like, "I thought it was cool to be teaching his servant staff, but you got directly summoned." It's like, if I didn't know you better, I'd think you were in trouble or something.
I hope not. I don't think I've done anything.
Well, you best not keep him waiting too long.
No, I better get going. I'll be back here as soon as I can. If any, if there's any emergencies, give me a call.
No. Oh, Natalie's like, could you confirm a date and a time that he wants me over there
Oh, sure, I'll do that.
for the staff? And with that, you walk out the door. Within 10 minutes' time, you're back at the apartment. You climb on your Vespa and you look at the address and you're like, this is the really high rent district part of New York City. You haven't even been in this section of New York City. You thought where you lived and on the west side was where rich people lived. In this section, they look at the rich people in the West Village and laugh hysterically because those people are servant staff to these people. Um, this is up off Wall Street.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. In fact, you have to actually drive by the Empire State Building while you're going there. And then suddenly it all turns to very lush trees and green lawns and ever expanding green lawn pieces of property. And you get to the address, and it's got a cast iron gate with a cast iron fence. Uh, a good bit back, you see a very large um, I don't know what they call colonial, I guess. This house was built in the 1800s. It's all brick. There have been expansions to it over the years, but you can't tell it was that well done. And the long driveway ends in a circle drive right in front of the front door, or right in front of the porch that has. Um, that's the only odd thing that sticks out about this house. The porch and the columns that are on the porch. You've seen pictures of these kinds of houses when you were alive. And the porches and the columns are always white. These are black, which is definitely stands out against the brick house. It's like, yeah. You go up to the porch and there's a gold, seriously, real gold gargoyle head knocker on the door. It looks like something out of Halloween, but it's actually solid gold.
Wow.
And you knock on the door, and the door opens, and you are seriously surprised because there's there's this red-headed girl that looks like she's in her mid-20s standing there. And she opens the door and she ushers you in and says, "You must be Winter.
Yes, that's right.
The prince is expecting you in his drawing room." And she closes the door and says, "Follow me." And she leads you down a hallway and through a couple of other rooms till you come to a room with a single arched door made out of wood. And she gently knocks and you hear a voice say, "Enter." And she opens the door and the two of you walk in the room. And Cornelius is sitting there in a high back overstuffed chair, um, facing a lit fireplace. And you find this slightly odd because it's roughly the end of summer. It's not horribly cold out yet, but vampires are always cold, no matter what time of year it is. And he looks up, and this room is lined with bookshelves that are filled with books. There must be hundreds of books along the wall in this room. Um, he looks up, says, "Ah, Winter, you made it here fairly quickly. I appreciate that." Um, he's like, "Come and sit." And there's another overstuffed armchair across from him with a small real wood table and side table. Says, uh, "Which blood type do you prefer?"
A negative is my favorite.
He turns to the girl, says, "Lana, bring Winter a glass of," you said A negative, or,
Yes.
"and bring me my normal AB negative, if you would." Uh, she says, "Of course, Prince," and bows and walks out of the room and closes the door. He says, "Oh, if you're wondering, uh, Lana is actually my maid, for lack of a better term. She's 290."
She looks good for that age. Is she one of us or a ghoul?
Uh, she's a ghoul. I feed her every week or two. Uh, in her day, she was a bit of a, shall we say, what's the today's term? Uh, Power grabbing gold digger type. Uh, well, then she met me and I fixed that problem. Um, so, you must be wondering why you got the note that I left you.
Yes.
We, mm, me and, let's just say, a team of experts that I have been able to call on, process the information that your group and Tanner got from the park. And if I'm completely honest, I'm a bit worried.
I'm worried about what?
There seems to be any number of elements happening all at the same time, and none of which are good. It's like, and he literally pulls a list from his coat pocket and goes down this list. It's like, First, there's gangrel trouble with the um, transit people. Then,
Right.
then there's the maquette who seem to be wandering around for whatever reason. Then there's the body found with the clone markings on it.
Yes, and now there are strikes too.
I'm aware of those. I've had my house staff have seen them. Uh, and there's one more thing which I don't know if you're even aware of, which could be the worst of the list. Are you familiar with the seven?
No.
They are, how should I put this? Anti vampire vampires. Their entire goal of existence is to get rid of as many vampires as they can.
But they are vampires themselves?
In the literature of their history, they claim that when they have eliminated enough vampires, but only they know what that number is, they will eliminate themselves.
So they're anti-vampire, but they allow, well, I guess I was gonna say they allowed themselves to be turned, but they don't always have a choice. So,
So it's like this thing is like when our job is done, we will dissolve. It's like uh, the problem is only they know when that is. So
so, and sir, are you telling me we have those running around now too?
they are people dressed as they look like monks.
Oh,
They walk around in robes.
oh, we saw one of them earlier today, this evening.
Really,
Yes.
hmm. Beginning to wonder why all these things uh, tend to be congregating around your club.
I don't understand it either. I assure you I've got nothing to do with any of this.
It's
I feel
like,
sort of like I've been caught up in all of it, actually.
uh, where did you see this one?
When we were on the way to my club,
Was he doing anything?
no, he was just walking. He did look at us and kind of nod. He acknowledged us, but then he just kept walking.
Hmm. Oh,
I'm going to assume he knows what we are, considering he's one too and could smell us.
yeah. Vampires can smell blood before they see it. So, yeah. Have you?
Should I be worried?
I would definitely be on my guard if I were you, yes. In fact, I'm meeting with my advisory council tomorrow evening. Um, when is the last time you talked to Lucian Caldwell?
The last time he was in my club, which was, I guess, a couple of days ago.
Hmm,
Not sure I entirely trust him.
I'm not sure I do either. What do you know of him?
Not much. That's why I don't entirely trust him.
He is a priest of the Lycaea Sanctum,
I'd heard that, but
or
I've reason to believe he has something to do with the gangrel thing as well. He keeps
or
asking me if I've seen them around.
or at least he was. Hmm. They have distanced themselves from him because his philosophies are somewhat different from theirs. And I have people who have told me that they think he's up to something. There is a
Yes,
there's a
Tanner was wondering if he might be up to something as well.
there's a church holiday coming up soon. M- My people have heard rumors that that's the day that whatever he's thinking about will happen. Um, and for I, I myself, although he dresses much nicer than most, I myself think that the reason he is so connected with this gangrel that the Invictus took is that he is a gangrel himself. He doesn't necessarily let that be known. That's why he dresses in fancy clothing and such. So I would be very cautious around him.
Yes, whenever he shows up, I try to tell him as little as possible about what's going on.
In fact, I would venture to say that if your RIP section of your club is opening tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if he was there. So, with all the things going on with him and the Strix and the Seven wandering around and the maquette, I would be cautious if I were you. I think I know why the maquette's been snooping around your club.
Why?
They're working for the Lycaea Sanctum. They're sort of the minute Lucian walked into your club, they were like, what's going on here? With Lucian being a quote, breakaway heretic from the Sanctum.
Right. Well, I'm
Maquette,
just now finding out about all that. I've got nothing to do with him in that respect.
Maquettes are wonderful spies. In fact, I use them myself, and I would venture to say that the ones you have seen following you and at the club are employed, if not employed, are sanctum members that have been asked to do, you know, their holy duty for the church.
Well, I've
And
got nothing against them following uh, Lucian around, but they I'd appreciate it if they'd leave me alone. I've got nothing to do with the Lycaea Sanctum or Lucian's cult or whatever he's got going on.
I, and at that point, you hear a knock on the door, and Lana walks in with the glasses of blood, sets the tray on the table, sets yours in front of you, and the prince is in front of him and picks up the tray. Uh, will there be anything else, Prince? He's, and he shakes his head and says, not currently. Uh, you may go on to your other duties if you have them. And she nods and bows, walks out the door and closes the door. I I just all of these things are adding up and they're circling around the three of you in your club. And I wasn't sure, being newer vampires, I wasn't sure how much the three of you were able to pick up on your own.
Natalie may have figured a few things out that Dex and I didn't, but she's not mentioned it, so
How is Dex doing, by the way?
he's honestly he's doing considerably better with the whole thing after learning how to hunt.
Well, once the anxiety about a your food source is taken care of, that does lift a lot of weight off your shoulders. knowing that you can feed whenever necessary.
Right. And of course, for me, realizing that I've been trying to do it wrong for 5.5 years was a little embarrassing. But it is so much easier when you're not attacking unwilling victims.
That does help. Uh, I take it Natalie is doing fine.
Yes, she's doing fine. A little overwhelmed with everything that's going on, but we all are.
Well, yes. Mm, I'm not real happy that all of this is going on in my city.
I hope we're not under any suspicion of starting all of this. I'm just running a club. I didn't ask for any of this.
No, the three of you are fine. Your club, however, has turned into a focal point for the for that area, and um, that means from time to time vampires are going to meet there that have less than honorable intentions, if you get my drift.
Yes.
And we just have to be mindful of these things. And,
Which leads to a question. What do I do if one of these seven try to come into my club? Should I have Dex bar them or
uh, no, because that would raise suspicion. Um,
but I'm responsible for my client or my customers, and I don't want them killing any of the vampires that frequent my club.
that's true. Um, actually, maybe you should have Dexter now let them in. It's, it will upset them, but I will dispatch a team to deal with them. Uh, I was planning on doing that after I met with the council tomorrow anyway, because I don't want too many of them to gather. Sa- Same with the Strix, only they're harder to corral. So, uh,
So, is there anything I need to do other than just be as careful as possible?
until we see what Lucian's plan actually is. Hold it. In fact, um, and Cornelius chuckles a bit. How would you like to turn into a maquette for a while?
Do you mean literally, or do you
No,
mean act
no,
as a
no.
spy?
You cannot switch clans the, They don't allow that.
Because I
Uh,
don't think I'd want to do that.
um, I was meaning more of the spy uh, ability. Uh, Whenever you have the time, if you could do a little spying on Lucian without him knowing it, maybe we can find out what his plan is.
I don't actually know where he's based out of or anything.
Well, next time he's in your club, actually, you have his card.
Oh, that's true.
He gave you
Uh,
his.
If it had more information than just his phone number on it.
It, it was a standard business card.
Oh, okay.
It had an address. Um, it actually said the righteous Reverend
Mm.
Lucian Caldwell on it, and it had an address and a phone number.
Oh, okay.
Uh, are you gonna ask him what Natalie told you to ask him?
Yeah, if he's done with everything, if he wanted to say.
Uh, he's like, if you're if you're willing to do that, it might be very helpful.
I I'll do what I can as far as that's concerned, yes.
Uh, do you have any questions?
Well, that's all pretty straightforward. The only thing is Nat asked me to uh, confirm with you a date and time that you want her to come over and train your staff in mixology.
Oh, nah, my birthday's in a couple of weeks' time. Um, we've got most of the other celebration plans already done. Um, what night of the week is your slowest night?
Probably Monday.
Um, could you spare her for a couple of hours this Monday?
Sure. Like right around when we usually go to the club. Should I send her over
Yeah,
around 8:30?
yeah. And, uh, hopefully she'll be done by 10:30, and then she can go back to the club. Um, would would you need a backup bartender, or uh, do you?
Uh, Nat probably has a friend that could fill in.
That's true. She probably knows other bartenders in the city.
Yeah.
Okay, that should work fine then. And um, you can tell Tanner whatever you find out about Lucian, um, and he'll tell me,
Okay.
and we can go from there. And we can talk a little bit about it at the birthday party if we need to do other things. Uh, Once again, thank you for coming. Uh, and I think that's all I had. Uh, you probably need to get back to the club.
Yes.
They're probably wondering what's going on about now.
Right, and I need to let Dex know not to let any of those people. I should definitely tell them both who and what they are.
Yeah. So, um, he pressed the button on his phone. He pulled his phone out of his suit jacket and pressed the button. And uh, Lana actually answers. Says, uh, yes, Prince, what can I do for you? And he says, uh, Miss Winter is ready to leave now. And you hear Lana say, I'll be right there. Puts his phone back in his pocket. And in a couple minutes, you hear a knock on the door. Lana walks in. And she motions for you to get up and follow her. And the prince gets up and t- takes your hand for a second and says, um, once again, thank you for your help. Um, I, um, I will be sure to mention you at the next Invictus meeting and how much of a help you've been. And I look forward to visiting with you again at the birthday party.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that as well. And remember, my RIP section opens up tomorrow, so if you anytime you'd like to take advantage of it, you automatic membership.
I will definitely drop by. Maybe not tomorrow because you're going to be extremely busy tomorrow night.
Yes, and I was just going to say, I don't think I'm going to be able to have a chance to do any spying tomorrow night.
Um, I may drop by in a few nights once it's leveled out a bit, shall we say.
Of
And
course, if Lucian wants to hang out there, that would give me an easy way to spy on him.
I was about to mention that you may see him tomorrow night. Um, and I'm almost sure Tanner will show up. So uh, maybe if I wait a few nights, it will give you time to talk with Lucian and see if you can, I don't know, be a little more friendly and get him a little more sideways and he might actually tell you something.
Yes.
One never knows these things. So, and with that, he lets go of your hand and sits back down. Lana leads you down the hall, back to the front door. Uh, It was nice meeting you, Winter. Uh,
You as well.
I will probably see you at the birthday party in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
And with that, she closes the door and you hop on your Vespa. I was about to say it's later now, so the traffic is a little better, but in New York City, the traffic never gets that much better.
Right, yeah.
Uh, and you work your way back down to the club. Do you drive your Vespa to the club, or do you drive it back to the garage and walk back to the club?
Yeah, I'll do that since we're all in Nat's car, and I don't really want to leave it at the club overnight.
Yeah. Uh, so you park in the garage and start walking back to the um, club. As you're walking, you see the man in green robes again. In fact, he's standing under a power line with an owl looking creature above his head. And you hear this owl give the loudest and almost, if you could say, saddest sounding hoot you've ever heard. But they don't move. They just watch you walk by. And within a couple more minutes, you're back at the club. There is a serious line outside. Um, you walk by Dexter and he smiles and nods at you. And you walk inside and the club is full. Uh, Mostly regulars. Uh, Natalie is keeping up at the bar. She sees you and waves you over to the bar. Said, we're definitely going to have to do an emergency order for tomorrow night.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and do that.
When I get a minute, I will. Um, so, how'd it go with the prince?
Well, it sounds like things are maybe worse than we thought.
You're like, oh, great.
Yeah, you know that weird person we saw on the way over? The one dressed as a monk?
Yeah,
You've been around a lot longer than I have. You've been a vampire a lot longer than I have. Have you heard of the Seven?
she thinks for a second. I've heard of stories about them. Actual, more than stories, horror stories.
Yes, well, he was one of them.
He what?
We've got,
The prince confirmed this, did he?
yes.
Um,
So we've got that now too.
what are they doing in our neighborhood?
Don't know. Prince doesn't know. He gonna try to find out, um, and hopefully get rid of them. Which reminds me, I need to let Dex not to let any of them in if they try to come in. Oh, and the prince wants me to spy on Lucian as well.
Really?
Yeah, I guess I'm not the only one who doesn't trust him.
I don't know anybody that would, but he wants you to spy on.
Yeah,
Okay.
and apparently the Maquettes are interested in me because they think I have something to do with him, which, no. But, but yeah, Cornelius would like me to spy on him. You know, I mean, with my RIP section opening, if he's hanging out there, that would be easy enough to do, I guess. I can talk to him, try to get him to tell me something. Cornelius sort of thinks he might be a gangrel himself.
He is. He's the nicest kept one I've ever seen.
Well, yes, according to the prince, that's on purpose. It's so nobody would think he is a gangrel.
Mm. Hmm.
But yes, things are much more complicated, and I kind of lean over the bar and be like, "It's times like these I wish alcohol still worked. I'd be drinking right about now."
Yeah. So, you do know alcohol won't work on Lucian,
Oh, I know it
right?
doesn't work on vampires at all.
Mm.
I just meant for me.
Yeah. You. Well, I was thinking about how you're going to get him to tell you anything. You're going to have to flatter him and
Yeah,
like
I'm going to have to flirt with him.
make him think you're interested in him and whatever he's trying to do.
Exactly. Yes, I'm going to have to.
Mm.
Who knows what I'm going to have to end up doing, come to think of it.
And
I don't know if I want to think about it.
yeah, Natalie's like, the prince is the only person anybody would do this for.
Well, Tanner did tell me that if the prince ever asked me to do anything, not to say no. So,
Well, yes, I can understand that. You know, I kind of like you. I don't want you suddenly disappearing on me.
no, that would probably cause all sorts of problems.
And it'd probably be kind of painful for you as far as people who've said no to the prince don't tend to reappear.
I don't want a terminal suntan. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Uh, yeah, lobster girl would not look good on you. Uh, so, oh, what did he say about the bartender stuff, or did you get around to that?
Oh, he'd like you to go over Monday. Dex and I'll come open the club, and you can head straight over toward to the prince. And I tell her his address. Well, it was on the note, so she saw it when I showed it to her, I guess.
Mm. Did he have any idea how long it might last?
The training, he said probably 2-3 hours.
Oh, okay. And she looks at the address again and goes, "Whoa."
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
She's like, "I've never even been in this part of town." I guess I gotta find out where the place is if that's where the birthday party's gonna be.
So Monday, I assumed you probably had someone you could call in to cover for you. I mean,
Hmm. I can do it easily enough. Hadn't thought about that. That'd only take a phone call or two. In fact, if I get a minute when I'm not either serving drinks or counting stock and making an order, I'll make a phone call. Yeah.
so I'm gonna go outside and let Dex know quietly that he's not to let in any of the guys dressed like the guy we saw on the way here.
Yeah, I just don't think they'd fit in with the normal crowd in here. Yeah, everybody you see in here, it basically looks like a goth vampire bar. It's like
Right.
everybody's in black leather, black fishnet, or whatever. And guy walking in sandals, no hair, and lime green robes would not
Right.
fit in well. Yeah. About that time, a 20 something couple stumbled up to the bar. Uh, so while Natalie is serving drinks, you go out and talk to Dexter. Do you tell him everything the prince told you?
Uh, yeah, I mean, he needs to know everything too, but I make sure that people in the line can't hear us.
Yeah, you pull him over by the side of the building. The two old guys are still at the side of the building. Now that you know who they are, you sort of wave at them. Thinking. And
Yeah, I kind of wave at them.
they look at each other and sort of timidly wave back because it means that you've like figured out who they are. And they're like, "Hold it, you're not even supposed to know we're here." So,
We take a quick break here.
uh, yeah, we can come back with you talking to Dexter. Um, okay, guys, we're gonna take a quick 20-minute break and we'll be back Um, Pretty shortly, you guys won't even know we were gone that long, but we'll see you in a little bit. And I will do that. And then, alright. Hello and welcome back to our Vampire the Requiem episode 5 for this evening. When we left for break, Winter was about to go out and talk to Dexter and tell him everything she found out. So you walk out the door, and there's still a considerable line standing in front of Dexter. So you pull him over to the side of the building, and like we said, you wave at the two old guys by the edge of the building, and they sort of sheepishly wave back at you and then turn around and walk away because they've been discovered and that's a bad thing. So um, you turn back to Dexter. What do you tell him?
Well, first of all, I tell him about the seven and that the guy we saw was one of them and not to let any of them in. I tell him who they are, what they are, and I mentioned that since we were literally noticed by one, that we should probably be keep our eyes open and be kind of careful because I don't know if we've necessarily been marked per se, but it kind of feels like it at this point.
In fact, that one saw you twice now because he saw you walking back to the club
Mm.
earlier. Dexter's like, okay, this is getting all very weird very quickly. What the hell is this?
I know this is definitely more than I bargained for. Shit, I just wanted to open up a goth nightclub. I mean, come on.
Vampires have as many problems as humans, apparently, which sort of sucks when you think about it.
Yes, considering we don't have the unhealthy coping mechanisms that humans do.
And we're not allowed to just go around killing people.
I wouldn't do that anyway.
He says, yeah, I'm probably more likely than you are. Um,
Not a good idea. That's not really a good way to stay alive.
hmm, Sounds like it's about to get difficult to do that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and also I guess I'm going to be doing some spying on Lucian for the prince.
uh, well, all I gotta say about that is do a better job than the two old guys you did.
Yes, my only concern is that it might involve getting quite a bit closer to Lucian than I'd necessarily like, but
Well, you can always take a shower afterward.
I very much probably would.
Yeah.
A nice long one.
Oh, that's also an advantage to your RIP section, being that it was your old apartment. There is a full bathroom in there and with shower and everything else. So that's an
Except
advantage for that.
the shower is probably the only part of the bathroom we even use as vampires. I don't think vampires go to the bathroom.
I haven't ever heard of it. No,
Yeah,
you
I don't.
might
I mean, they're technically dead. They don't have functions.
you you might brush your fangs every now and again,
Oh
but
yeah,
uh, yeah. And the blood just sort of intermingles with your own. So
right. It sort of absorbs. That's what you
yeah.
would think.
So he's like, okay, nobody in here wearing green robes and sandals.
Right.
That's probably a good thing anyway.
Yeah. What we
And
don't know is what they're doing around here, but
yeah, not sure what those owls are for either.
no.
And I don't really want to be a vampire zombie.
That's not high on my list of things to do.
I have a feeling it'd be kind of boring. Might actually be painful.
Yeah.
So no. Um, on the upside, the club's doing well. I think we've handed out all the flyers we had.
Are people showing interest?
Yeah. Um, I think we'll have a good crowd tomorrow night.
Great.
Hope we have the alcohol for it.
Nat said she was going to do a rush order on that.
Might have to go pick that one up ourselves, being that we need it by tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Talk to Natalie about that after the club closes. Might have to make a run before we open tomorrow.
Right.
Mm. Well, I'll let you know if anything weird happens out here.
Okay. Yeah, just keep your eye open.
Yeah. Well, those green robes are hard to miss.
Yes.
Oh, I don't suppose you want the owls in there either.
No, I can't imagine they would try to come in, but no, I don't want them in here.
And you'll look up in the tree above the club, and there's like three of them. That's why he points up to him and says, that's why I asked. So now you've seen like half a dozen of them. And you go inside, and Natalie's on the phone yelling at an alcohol distributor. She says, not only do we need an order for tomorrow, we're out of alcohol tonight. I don't know what happened, but the humans are drinking like crazy tonight. I've already had to have Dexter call a cab 4 times.
Have you, have you had to have him throw anybody out?
No, not yet. It's still fairly early though.
Yes. I'm just a little nervous if that ever happens. He hasn't had to since becoming a vampire, and I want to make sure he's not too rough with them because he's a lot stronger than he was before.
If he doesn't, tell him to throw him into an open space where there's like no walls or trees or anything.
Tell him, okay, now do it a lot softer than you think you need to, please.
Right. And
Don't want him like throwing someone and the guy falls on the, breaks his nose, smashes his face up on the ground. Like,
well, yeah.
that's
Well,
the lawsuits.
that can happen in a parking lot. You skid on your face, tear it up pretty bad, uh, and you don't even have to be thrown that hard. Um, where do you keep your cell phone?
I have it on me in my back pocket.
It rings. Uh, do you answer?
Yeah, I'll answer it. And if it's important, I'll go into my office where it's a little quieter.
It's Tanner.
Okay, so yeah, I'll head into my office.
So you head into your office and close the door. Uh, as you walk past Natalie, you show her your phone with Tanner's name on it, and you're like, I'll be right back in case you need me or something. Um, you go into the office. Uh, Winter, this is Tanner.
Hey, oh, what do you need?
Uh, you've got a bit of a problem. The prince told me that you came to visit and he told you about all the stuff going on.
Yes.
Uh, Across the street from your apartment, basically, little down the street, found a dead vampire.
Anybody you know?
Uh, Remember that gangrel that Lucian tried to, that we questioned, that Lucian tried to get to?
Yes.
Was him.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
That means Lucian's gonna be bugging my ass in the next few days.
Well, that means Invictus in general has a problem because we questioned him and then he ended up dead.
Right, but Lucian told me you turned him over to him and they re located him, whatever that meant. So he's seen him since he's been questioned.
Yeah. But that's still not going to make the humans real happy. Because 'Cause when I got there was a news crew already there. It's gonna be kind of tough to clean this one up.
Yeah. Is there anything you need us to do?
Um, the news, the news people are gonna want to question everybody around there, and the cops too if they're the investigation. And you guys live across the street. Just giving you a heads up on what might be coming your direction.
Okay. So if they do want to question us, should I lie and say I've never seen the guy before? Should I tell them what happened in line at my club? What?
Yeah, videotape if cameras at the club.
Of course.
Cops are gonna want to see that. If the when they find out you own a club, they're gonna want to see that.
They're
Especially
welcome to it.
especially if he's ever been in there. So I'd be as honest as you can. Uh, you know, don't give them information they don't need,
Right.
but
They
don't
right.
lie to them because it's all gonna be on videotape. So, fact, do you still have the videotape of the gangrel attacking the person in the line?
Yes, I keep all the tapes as records. I don't record over them. I just replace the tapes. So yes, I keep
Uh,
them.
they'll want to see that. That one especially gonna make. He's like, oh God, humans aren't supposed to know that vampires exist. And if a news crew gets a hold of that tape and puts it out, we're all in deep crap.
Uh, would you happen to know if there are any vampires on the police force, and if it would be possible if anyone did want to question us, you could send one of them. Make sure it's one of them that comes over. That way, that
Hmm.
might that might they they might be able to keep something like that out of the hands of the press.
That's an idea. I hadn't thought about that. I'll talk to the prince and see if he can call in some favors.
I mean, this is New York. You'd think there'd be at least one vampire on the police
Oh
force.
God, yeah, the size of New York. Yeah, and goes. I actually know a vampire attorney, which I will give a heads up to in case you guys end up needing one.
Okay.
Uh,
Hopefully we won't.
do you have somewhere? Do the three of you have somewhere to stay tonight?
Well, I suppose we could stay in the club.
It's just that if you drive into your apartment across the street, you're gonna get mobbed by co- yeah, human cops and reporters.
We could actually we could stay up in the RIP room. There's you know the bedroom is still there, and then there's the couch, and we've got the blackout curtains.
Mm.
Never took those down, so
You might want to do that for tonight until we can possibly get a kindred cop or two to take over the investigation tomorrow.
that would be great. Yes.
Uh, Reporters, that one, I don't know, you're just gonna have to dodge those. Hmm. Too bad Strix aren't controllable.
Right.
Fe- feed the
Stick them on the reporters.
yeah, feed the reporters to them. But it really makes me wonder what Lucian is up to.
Yes. Did the prince mention that he'd asked me to do some spying on uh, that ground, those grounds?
Oh boy.
He didn't mention that.
Hmm. Well, we were too busy talking about the fact that he was dead, that this guy was dead, and all the repercussions of that. But I could see where it'd be even more useful at this point.
Yeah, he asked me to do some spying on Lucian, which I told him, and I will do the best I can as far as that's concerned. I
Uh,
haven't had much experience spying.
could be even more dangerous now than he originally thought. Mm, we don't exactly know how or why the guy died yet. So, there again, you might want to hold off for a day or two till we find out what killed this guy.
Yes, and in the meantime, if Lucian does come into my club and pops into the RIP, I'll just, you know, I won't necessarily ask him anything yet, but I will make myself very friendly and
Uh,
earn his trust. So when I do start asking him questions, maybe he'll be more willing to answer.
by the way, oh, by the way, I did see a flyer about tomorrow night.
Yes, we've been putting them up and handing them out.
Um, I'm probably going to stop in to see what's going on, given the fact that things keep getting stranger by the day.
Yes.
So, you've no, across the guy in the green robes again?
Yes, I've seen him twice.
Hmm. Hmm. We've got reports that there are several of them in different neighborhoods of the city.
But they haven't been here before?
Not since Lucian's been prince. No.
Hmm. And you have no idea what they're doing here all of a sudden?
Mm, no. I'm going to tell you something that nobody else needs to hear. Since,
Okay.
since you're already doing some spy work for the prince, um, the prince is going to form a secret group to investigate that. He has suspicions that they've been brought in by somebody on the advisory council.
Okay.
Lucian, as long as you are pleasant with him and pretty much do what he says, Lucian is a wonderful man. But over his 400 years, he has developed his share of enemies along the way. And some of them are on his advisory council.
Is he aware of that?
That's why he's creating the secret task force, shall we say. Not even his advisory council knows.
Mm.
So I'm sure if it's necessary, he will let you know about it since you're almost working for him now. No, I think that's all I've got for now. Uh, I'm sure I will see you tomorrow.
Yes, I will see you tomorrow, and I will let Nat and Dex know that what's going on and that it might be best if we spent the night here tonight.
Yeah. Hmm. And they said stalking the night would be easier than doing it during the day. Boy, were they wrong. And he chuckles slightly and says goodbye and hangs up the phone. You walk out of your office. Uh, Natalie is telling a group of 3 or 4 humans that she's actually out of alcohol, and they are not happy because they're past Blitz. In fact, if they weren't holding each other up, they'd all be on the floor. So what do you do?
I'll go over to them and say, are you guys hassling my bartender?
They're like, you're not supposed to be out of alcohol. What kind of club is this? If you're
Do
out
you
of, if
do you
you're,
see how busy we are? And besides, I don't think you need any more.
it's like, it's only midnight. You're open for 2 more hours, and you're out of alcohol.
I'll look over at Nat and be like, how did have any luck with that order? I heard you on the phone.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go pick it up tomorrow night before we open. But I think
What
I
about
ordered. I think I ordered enough.
so they're not gonna have any we can go over and pick up for tonight then?
Uh, could run to a liquor store really quick.
What exactly are you out of? Everything?
Uh, we could probably get by with, you know, 3 bottles of vodka and a couple bottles of whiskey. We could probably make it through the next couple hours. I have all the other supplies for the drinks. I just ran out of the alcohol part.
Okay, well, in that case, maybe you ought to go run to a liquor store.
I can do that. Um, you just need to make an announcement that that's what I'm doing so the rest of the people in the club don't go nuts.
Yeah. So I'll turn the music down and make the announcement.
And give me a majesty roll when you make it.
That was a 7.
Okay. You're too stressed out right now. Um, so you actually climb up on the bar and you tell the people that because of the current alcohol shortage, Natalie is running to make an alcohol run and we'll be back soon. And everybody in the club grumbles. And hearing a drunk person grumble is quite amusing, actually, because they can't even do that right. Um, and you hear several responses like, well, how long is that going to take? And as Natalie's walking out the door, she's like, should be back in about a half an hour. and she walks out the door. She walks past Dex, and Dex looks at her like, what's going on? Because there's still a good half a line in front of him. And she hops in the Tesla and, you know, heads to, toward downtown to the nearest liquor store. Actually, probably closer. There's got to be a liquor store in the East Village somewhere. Probably not in the West Village, but probably there's got to be one in the East Village somewhere. Um, and while she's gone, this lady, this brunette, tall, thin but muscular brunette, walks from the. You literally see her. She's standing against the back wall of the club, and she starts walking toward you. And she walks up to you, introduces herself um, as Celia. This woman is dressed flowing skirts, multiple bracelets and necklaces. Almost looks like a gypsy out of a movie. Um, she says, busy night tonight.
Yes, very.
More than usual when I've been here.
Yes, we usually do a pretty good business, but this is very busy tonight.
I wonder why.
I don't know, but I'm not complaining. I mean, it would be nice to not run out of alcohol, but brings in the money.
Yeah, the humans do drink a bit, don't they?
Yes, a lot. But, you know, hell, I guess I might have done that too when I was alive.
I think we all did. Um, saw you in the park the other night.
Did you?
Yeah. Saw you with that old man.
Yeah.
Hmm. How did you like my sister's handiwork?
I can't say I cared for it. very much, actually.
I don't know. Thought they did a nice job myself. I guess each to their own taste, I guess.
Well, killing innocent humans seems a little counterproductive
Well,
if we want to, you know, keep the humans from discovering us.
well, you go there now, he's not there anymore.
And there was another one too, wasn't there?
Oh,
With the
that wasn't
menu.
us. Uh,
It was the symbols were the same,
yeah, we have a copycat problem.
really.
That was
Oh,
another, that was done by a human.
and I'm thinking to myself, this is definitely something I need to tell Tanner, and he needs to pass that on to the prince, but I don't tell her that.
And she says, no, you gotta do what you gotta do when you need a sacrifice.
And why do you need sacrifice?
You know there's a big church holiday coming up.
I've heard that, yes. I don't go to church myself.
Only,
Wasn't a big church goer even when I was alive.
oh, neither do I, but when there's a chance to party, why not do it?
And this church holiday involves sacrificing humans.
Well, let's just say the Circle of the Crones holiday does, but don't let the church fool you.